This channel supports Extra Life in its efforts to raise money for the Children's Miracle Network. For more information about how to donate and join in their efforts, go to the link displayed here. Extra Life. Play games, heal kids. What up, everybody? This is your boy Black Megas. First of all, apologies for my neighbors blasting music in the background. Hopefully, when I do the noise reduction and all that, it'll kind of wash out, but they decided to party at 9:30 in the morning. So I said I probably shouldn't do an E3 video, like a separate one in my last video, but I felt compelled to do one this morning because I was thinking about some things. And it's not going to be the traditional E3 video that you guys are used to, simply because this was not at all a traditional E3. In fact, it was a very, very strange E3, which is in some ways kind of still going when you think about it. Because as I record, we're about 3.5 hours away from Microsoft doing an extended showcase for E3. And we still got some events coming up. EA is going to be doing the EA Play, which they traditionally do either right before or during the week of E3. They're doing this on the 22nd. And there was probably rumors floating around somewhere that Sony's going to do something else. Nintendo announced that they were going to do another kind of direct to go into details into some stuff later on. I believe this month, or maybe in July. So we're still kind of getting E3 when you think about it. And that's the thing. This is the first E3 since the pandemic started. Now, last year, everything was completely shut down. They didn't have any contingency to deal with not having a live in-person show. So this year, they decided they were going to try to do a virtual show, something that they've never done before, and which clearly, if you watched any other E3 coverage, none of these companies were prepared to try to put on anything. Now, I shouldn't say none of these companies, because some of these companies traditionally did what they do during E3. I'm looking at Square, for instance. Square Enix, since they've been doing presentations at E3, at least in my mind, they've been pretty lackluster. They've been pretty scattered as far as how the content was presented, and they just haven't been doing good presentations, in my opinion. So I guess we kept tradition there. Ubisoft, as I said in the other video, to me has been kind of regressing over the last few years anyway, as far as E3 is concerned. Although I think that's due to the fact that they have kind of been trying to find a polite way to pull out. They don't want to rip the Band-Aid like Sony did, or at least shift things to where they control their narrative a little bit better, like EA has been doing with the EA Play stuff. They've been kind of in that limbo, I think, where they want to keep one foot in with E3, but they also have one foot healthily out. So they've been awkward. We had newcomers like Take-Two who pretty much didn't really have anything to do or to say, so they decided to do a social discussion. Bandai Namco, it was meh. Capcom didn't really have much to show or to say. Nintendo Direct was the Nintendo Direct. People are going to have their feelings about it however they want to have their feelings about it anyway. Nintendo Directs to me never satisfy the quote-unquote mainstream anyway, because most of y'all who like to play PC, Xbox, or PlayStation, you're not into those types of games. Let's be honest. Like, that's just the thing. Nintendo has their aesthetic, and they have their agenda, and a lot of people want them to be more AAA across the board, do the things everybody else do, and Nintendo's just not going to do that. Never have, never will. Nintendo does what Nintendo does, and that's why Nintendo, to me, has always been probably the most consistent gaming company. If you really think about it, yeah, we could talk about how the Wii U didn't sell gajillions, and we could talk about some of their other consoles and things like that, but they sell enough, and they sell at a consistent enough pace, and they retain their fan base, and they maintain to be a profitable company. I don't think anybody ever has worried about Nintendo going out of business. Nintendo certainly has it, because they know they have the properties and things that will keep them afloat. So yeah, that's just how I see it. But yeah, game wise, for me personally, there wasn't a lot on the table to get super excited about. Again, Microsoft, I think, put on the best presentation. Some people were kind of upset that they didn't do a lot of detail oriented stuff, like have a discussion about the game. I think it would have did Starfield much better to do so, to have that part. But again, they're doing an extended fucking showcase, so you'll probably get some extended details on the things that you wanted, like Halo, how the Halo free-to-play multiplayer comes into play, and the campaign and things like that. You'll probably get some stuff on Starfield. They might show you something about Starfield beyond just a cinematic trailer. Who knows? We'll see. And you might hear a little bit more about what games are and aren't going to be multi-platform from Bethesda. They clearly feel like they had a lot of stuff they wanted to discuss. That's why they're doing this. They just didn't want to do it for E3. Which is fair enough. Because again, I feel like most companies are trying to go and just put the message out on their own, independent E3. They did a great job of selling Game Pass. If you are totally against playing on PC, then you will be in that camp that is thinking about purchasing one of the Xbox Series consoles. But again, for me, I have a PC that can play games pretty well. I can do the 1080 60 frames, which is fine by me. I'm not a big frames person anyway, so but still I could play all these games at a level that I could play at the least of an Xbox Series S, which is fine enough for me. And some games I can do 4K and things like that, so I'm good. And I do have Game Pass. It is $10 on PC. They don't put the same games out at the same time as they do on console, but I don't feel compelled to pay between $300 to $500 for a console just to pay then for an extra $5 for Game Pass, even though it will go across all platforms, so I can use it on PC too. When I gotta tell you, I don't use it as much as I thought I would, which is about what I expected anyway, because let's be frank, a lot of stuff we're gonna sit here like, wow, that's exciting, and I hear people talking about you lames, you willing to pay $60 for a game, blah blah blah. You're gonna pay for what you really really want anyway. Let's be honest. Something that you really 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 want to indulge in life, be it games, food, clothing, other gadgets, what have you. You're gonna put that money down if you got the money for it. Now, would you like it if you can get it for free? Everybody likes it if you can get it for free. If you see something that you really really want on Game Pass that you can get free, it's the reason why I recommend at least having it as a backup. But as a mainstay, no, because there's going to be things that you're going to want to get that may never show up on Game Pass. And, you just go and get it. And that's why, again, I think Game Pass is a good secondary tool, but I don't think it's the game changer that people want to make it to where you need to be an Xbox owner, um, which I don't think Microsoft cares about. To be quite honest, I think Microsoft cares more now that you get Game Pass. That's why they keep hitting you with the, it's going to be on Game Pass, 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 it's going to be on Game Pass. You know, like I literally just opened up my Xbox app on my computer, and they're already talking about like you can pre-install some of the games that they announced. They already want me to pre-install for Forza Horizon 5, Psychonauts 2, and Age of Empires 4, which actually will do the Age of Empires 4 thing because I'm a huge Age of Empires fan. So yeah, let's just see how much that's going to take up space while I do this. Anyway, but yeah, I mean, damn, 93 gigs. Jesus Christ. The fuck? That's wild. Anyway, sorry, got sidetracked. But yeah, like, you know, it fits with the model and the direction that they're going. Like, get the hardware, don't get the hardware. Just get Game Pass and play their games. Like, that's all Microsoft really cares about right now. So, you know, and it's working for them. It's definitely working for them. But beyond that, there wasn't anything big. Like Elden Ring looked good. But I don't do the Souls games, so you guys have fun beating yourselves in the head of those deaths. You know, the what's the name? The Avatar thing. I laughed, as my boy Cardiac said. Like, how is it that we got all this other stuff coming out for Avatar and they've only had one movie? It boggles mine. They're gonna have 4 more, but ain't seen hide nor hair of those things. So fuck, whatever. But yeah, and yep, the Starfield thing didn't blow my mind and it didn't upset me because I still don't know what the hell it is to have my mind blown or be upset about. But it's gonna be on PC, so if it is something that interests me, it may be if Bethesda can find a way to really interest me in the game that they make themselves. And I'm not saying like anything under the Bethesda name because I do like some of the id stuff, but I don't consider that Bethesda proper. I'm talking about like you can find something within the realm of the like, you know, part of Bethesda that makes stuff like the Elder Scrolls and the Fallout games, then you've done something special. Because I am just not big on Bethesda games, and I'm not going to sit here and cry about a game that I have no fucking clue about other than it's Skyrim in space, which again, for somebody who don't like Bethesda games, is not a plus. So, just saying. But yeah, overall, they did what they could. It wasn't the best thing, but it probably was the best that they could do in a lot of ways, because to the heart of this video and the reason why I want to do this, we have to still realize, people, that we are coming out of a pandemic. We're not even fully out of it. There's still, like, you know, a lot of hurdles to climb. Like, people are getting vaccinated. I myself am fully vaccinated, but you got these different variants and these different strains coming out. They're talking about you possibly having to get a booster shot to help defend against the strains and things like that. You know, as much as we're rushing to go back to normal, we still get signs that there's problems. You know, watching the NBA the other day, a player got diagnosed with COVID. No one knows if he's been vaccinated or not. But he's in, you know, the COVID protocol where he can't play, may not play the whole playoffs if he hasn't been vaccinated. You know, and it's going to affect the outcome of, you know, who wins the championship. It's going to have a heavy effect on that because it's a key player. We just saw a soccer player have a heart attack on the field, and there's speculation that it may be COVID. Really, it may not. No one knows. Um, just all types of things still going on with this pandemic. We're still trying to pull out of like full lockdown and trying to normalize. People are trying to get jobs. Companies still aren't going back to fully being, at work. Some companies are still just all at home, and these gaming companies, these developers, they're heavily affected by it too. We've just had a hardware launch last year in the middle of a pandemic when there's a shortage of supply of parts because factories haven't been able to run at full capacity for a long time, and manufacturing is at a slower pace than need be. Working from home, it's hard to do things, coordinate things like that, develop. So games aren't being developed at the speed that they normally are. Games already take a good while to cycle through, and now you have the delay of restrictions on how you work on them. It's a lot. And so trying to put together something as big as E3, which generally is a massive event, and then compartmentalize it down to a bunch of online shows and coordinate with all these countries who, again, everything's pretty much being done online. Everything's trying to be put together with the employment base separated and all that. You're gonna get this, and you're gonna get the mess that we have. So I know a lot of people like to grade these E3 conferences and things. Me personally, I would just put NA by this E3 because it's a reminder of how we just aren't back to normal. And so if you're going to judge this, you have to give it a huge curve, in my opinion. You can't even compare it to the last E3, which wasn't that great, but at least they had the proper preparation and time for you to come out and say, yeah, it wasn't that great. Next year, like I said, they're planning on trying to get back in to having everybody come to a convention center and the booths and things like that. I think that's a better year to rate. That's a better time to sit and really critique this. I think this year, with the critiques that I've given it, I am still not willing to just pass total judgment on it because things are fucking weird. It's fucking weird right now. It's still weird. We're still in an adjustment period, and we're still trying to figure out what the new normal is. So, it was what it was, and that's about the best I could say about it. It was what it was. We'll see 2022 what they can do when they at least have a better understanding of where they're going to be at and what they can do without kind of whole doing a piecemeal type of thing. So and that's pretty much it. Anyway, you guys feel free to hit me up, let me know what you think, and I'll catch you later. It's your boy Black making them out. Deuces.